This is me putting that positive energy into the world, so hopefully that means it'll happen. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing the Jan-uary book tag. Alright, before we get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what was the first book that you finished this year. Alright, so as per usual, this was a tag. This was originally created by JAN-uary. Absolutely adore her. Love her so much. Give her a follow. I'll put a link to her video in the cards up above, as well as in the description down below. I am also filming this while making dinner, so it's gonna be a little chaotic. Let's jump right in. First question. What was the last and first, if you remember, book you read last year? So the last book that I read last year was Wolfsong by T.J. Klune. I did my reread of this. My December was far crazier than I was originally anticipating. So I didn't get nearly as many of my rereads done as I wanted, but I did finish Wolfsong, went through and annotated it. There are a million. I had a phenomenal time. Love this book just as much. I do actually remember what my first book of 2023 was, Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhorse, because it was in my top 10. I love this book. It was such a freaking good ride. Probably the first book that, I would say leans into higher fantasy and kind of has officially gotten me interested in some of those stories, even though I'm still a little nervous. This kicked that off, and I cannot wait to finish the series out this year. Next question. What is your first read this year? I literally just finished my first book last night, and that was Systems Collapse by Martha Wells, the 7th book in the Murderbot series, because unfortunately I did not get to it last November when it came out, and I really wanted to continue on the series. Still very much enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I started the year off with that audiobook. Kevin R. does a phenomenal job in the narration. I care about Murderbot so much as a character, and seeing a lot of the more human sides, insecurities Murderbot is starting to showcase because they're becoming more human. It had me so soft, it had me so over the moon. I also really adore how they've come to care about the humans that they surround themselves with. Can't wait for the next installment of the series. Next question. Share 3 of your reading goals for this year. So I mentioned a few of these in my Ringing in the New Year book tag, which I'll put a link in the cards up above. First off, actually read my 10 books for 2024. Also, do my best to try and complete my 12 Recs by 12 Friends. That one I'm gonna be a little bit more lenient on, but I still wanna try and finish it. Then I'm officially diving into the Star Wars canon books. Have I started any of these? No, but I just recently registered for the library, which is closer to my new house, and it seems from what I've seen so far that they actually have a lot of the Star Wars canon books, plus my brother has a fair amount of them too, so I'll go back and forth between the library or borrowing them from him. Hopefully easy access will mean that I actually get these read, but that excuse has never worked for my own TBR, so we'll see. Next question. Share 3 of your most anticipated releases. Well, first, very easy one. Just talked about Black Sun. I can't wait for Mirrored Heavens, which comes out in June. It's so far away, but I'm still so excited. I also am over the moon, so pleased that A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faizal will finally be coming out this year. Unfortunately, the publication date for that has gotten pushed out 2 or 3 times now, but I'm so ready to have that book in my hands. Tea room, heist, vampires. An odd combination of things that just sound like a lovely time, and I am so intrigued to see how that works out. Finally, and this one I am saying because it's me hoping, praying that Tor officially gives it to us this year. Alecto the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. That is the final book in the Locked Tomb series. Even though I have only come to adore that series last year, the publication date for this one has also been pushed back a few times. And I'm so nervous it's not gonna actually come out this year. But last time I checked on Goodreads, the publication date was sometime in fall of 2024. So fingers crossed, this is me putting that positive energy into the world, so hopefully that means it'll happen. I really hope. Next question. Which goals did you reach/not reach last year? I don't think I actually had an official goals video last year. I might have them written down somewhere, but I didn't try and find them. I do know for a fact that I stayed on top of my TBR game. That was something I was a little nervous about when it came to just drawing the prompts and also actually reading the books for said prompts, but I did pretty well. I think kind of forcing a video on them ended up working in my favor by making myself film a weekly reading vlog and read those books in them. That worked pretty well in the end. On top of that, I wanted to up the percentage of BIPOC authors I read last year, and I did a pretty great job. I think the year previously I was somewhere in the 30%, and I was at 40% this past year. I'm still working to try and get this as close to 50-50 as I can. That's my ending goal, so hopefully I might manage to do it this year. And then finally, the big goal that I had going on throughout the year was just to work on series. I was in the middle of 1 million. I really wasn't keeping track of them very well. So I finally started doing that last year. I went through and added a spreadsheet in my giant book tracker to keep track of ones that, you know, I was in the middle of, I was up to date on, when did the next book get released, and did I officially decide to finish or DNF them. Across the board, I would say I did a great job. I talked about that in my series of series, so I'll put a link to the playlist. Did fantastic with that, and I'm going to continue to do so this year. Me, once again, putting that positive energy into the world, hoping that it works. Next question, and this is one that I have a lot of fun with. Are there 2024 releases you've heard of that you have no desire to read? Absolutely. Bride by 𝗖cie HDZ, that is going to be her first fantasy romance, romantasy, whatever. And it's between, I think, a vampire and a werewolf? No. Just no. I've kind of written off 𝗖cie HDZ as an author in general for me when it comes to my taste in books, but this one really just no interest. Another one is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. That one I think is also gonna be like a vampire story, but it's set in historical Spain, which is an interesting idea. I like the concept. I don't really know how well Leigh Bardugo will be at pulling that off. She is another author that unfortunately I've realized just doesn't really work with me. I've read 5 of her books when most of the time I give authors 2 chances, and none of those 5, no, I think one of them topped 3 stars. I've officially come to realize Leigh Bardugo and we don't get along. Her writing style is not for me. This one's already been getting a lot of hype, but I don't see myself picking it up. Oh, the 3rd book in the Crescent City series. Isn't that the name of the series? By Sarah J. Maas? No interest. Another author. I've tried. I think I was like 5 books into Throne of Glass and we didn't work. DNF'd ACOTAR as well, so I'm staying as far away from Crescent City as I can. I'm so glad that a lot of other people are over the moon excited for it. I am not one of those. Not to mention the fact that these things are literal weapons. Every single one of her books lately are like giant. Next question. What are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? I love that I put this as a reading habit I want to change, when at the same time, my TBRs are so structured, but I want to try and mood read more. I really do. I tend to have a large variety of books in my TBR every single month, so I kind of mood read within that, but I want to do even more so. I want to just pick up a random book because it sounds interesting to me. I haven't really had a lot of time for that. Sometimes I'm really in the mood for it. Other times I really want more structure. I want something external to tell me what to read. So I guess it's more just I want to listen to my reading taste at the time and kind of follow that, whether it wants me to stick to my TBR or whether it wants me to mood read. I also really want to try and host more reading sprints this year. I'm going to put a goal. I'm trying to do about 1 a month, probably on Wednesdays. So we shall see. You guys should keep me accountable to that. Ask for them in the comments if I'm not posting, because I really want to do them. I just need to make time for it, which is kind of hard with my crazy life. Next question. Are there any adaptations you're excited for? I really feel like I haven't heard about many lately. The only one that came up whenever I was Googling trying to find something was that Wicked is getting turned into a movie, but I think it's like Wicked more based on the musical than the book, really. I love the musical. I've never read the book. I am intrigued to see how that works. Musical movies can like sometimes work really well and sometimes not. Next question. Favorite bookish memory of last year? I definitely have to steal last year's answer. It's the same again. Getting to go book shopping with my best friends. My best friends don't live near me. We live all over the country. So when we all get to actually spend time together, first off, we absolutely have to go book shopping. So we did that again. I'll put a link to my vlog that has a book haul in there. We got tons of great stuff, but also it's just so much fun getting to experience that with them because I really only get to see them in person about once a year now. So, you know, that it's hard not to look back on that as one of my favorite bookish memories of the year. And then the final question, carryovers from last year that you're still planning on finishing. First one I have to say is Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. I picked this up for the Squash That series round in like September, I think it was, and I never got back to it. I just wasn't really in the mood for historical fantasy at the time, but I do still want to try and finish that one and also perhaps finish the series. The other one was a reread that I started in December, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I loved previously, and I was diving into it, just getting ready to go through and annotate, but unfortunately time got away away from me. My life, as I mentioned, has been really, really hectic lately. So I didn't finish that one, and I really wasn't even that far in. So I keep going back and forth on whether or not I actually do want to try and push through it in January, because my January TBR was already quite big. Do I want to add another book to that? I don't think so. We'll see. And on that note, that is it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Because this is the JAN-uary book tag, leave a bat emoji in the comments if you made it all the way to the end. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have links to all my socials in the description if you're interested in keeping up with what I am reading. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!